Welcome back. We're here with Hans from HW Dog Training. Hans, thank you so much for coming on, man. I'm excited to have you on the podcast. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Thanks for having me on here.
Of course. So, can you talk about what is one trick a dog owner can do at their house to make sure their dog is more obedient?
Structure. Structure is the biggest thing. A lot of times people think freedom for a dog is just letting them do whatever they want all the time. And that's absolutely the opposite of what you should be doing. When you want freedom with your dog, there should be some kind of structure. Any kind of training sort of thing, like if you get involved with any little bit of training here and there, do something, just do something with your dog. Even if it's playing ball with your dog, making them wait for 2 seconds before they go get that ball, bringing them back, making them sit, do things, just any kind of structure like that. It's something easy that somebody can do with their dog.
So you would almost say dogs like structure.
Absolutely. Just like kids. I mean, if you think of it like your kid or your kids, how you raise them, because a lot of people, one of the biggest problems that I see with people is they have their kids raised, then they get these dogs, and then they were super strict with their kids raising their kids, and then they just, oh, well, these are my babies, and I just let them go. Yes, there are babies. I love my dog too, but we have to keep some kind of structure because they just run the house if you don't.
Yeah. And what do you think the biggest obstacle is when it comes to building that structure as a dog owner?
People just don't know how. Sometimes, literally, some of the easiest little things that I tell somebody is me telling them different things. They're just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I shouldn't be just allowing my dog to eat off of my plate on the couch, or laying up in bed with me, and then when I move, my dog growls, and I'm like, well, that dog shouldn't have that privilege of being on the bed, and then people are like, oh my gosh, that makes total sense. But just little things like that, people just don't know, and that's where just reaching out to a dog trainer, even just for if your dog's good and you want to make that dog better, then obviously reach out to a dog trainer and have some kind of dog trainer input on your dog.
Do you think humans underestimate how intelligent dogs are that allow them to build that structure?
All the time. Yeah, all the time. And sometimes, but also, I think humans think, they know dogs are smart, but they just don't know how to communicate with them. And that's one thing about, the training is you train that human, not just the dog, but you train that human how to communicate with that dog. And then they have so much more of an enjoyable life together. Not only the human, but the dog itself. Because then, and people don't even realize that they're communicating with the dog when they actually are. They don't know the intricate little things, but people do it all the time. They send a dog out to go potty, and the second it comes back in, they give it a treat. Well, pretty soon that dog is smart enough to realize that if I go outside, I come back in, I get this treat. Pretty soon, every 5 minutes, the dog wants a treat. It acts like it has to go outside and go potty, and these people are like, well, I don't know. He goes out there and won't, go potty because he wants that treat. He just thinks he's just playing games with you, So, yeah, absolutely. I hope that ain't. I kind of went off on that rant, but.
No. I mean, I think those little things people don't realize, like you said, they don't realize they're training their dog, or they take like a human approach of like, oh, I'm being nice, or I want him to taste good food, or I want him to do all these things. And they almost inject their human qualities into their dog.
100%. That's one of the biggest things I tell everybody is you almost have to take your human emotions out of it at a certain time. Yes, do I get down and love on my dog? Do I and play with them, hug him, kiss him, all that stuff? Absolutely. But there's still a level of hierarchy that you have
Yeah.
to establish with that dog, and our emotions sometimes overtake
Yeah.
us, and we don't do what we're supposed to
Yeah.
be doing with those dogs.
Absolutely. And how does your personal approach to dog training separate you from the large facilities?
So, I mean, I've worked for large facilities, and I just feel like my way of doing it, I've seen that way, I've done that way. Um, Mine in my house is my home, and I'm allowing these or having these dogs come into my home, and it's more of a personal approach. I feel like dogs are less stressed. They come in here. I literally in my training room for at least the first hour, I'm welcoming them in, and it just I don't know. It's just a more personal approach. I feel like facility style training it's like a revolving door for dogs, and our dogs are so much a part of our lives right now that people think of them as part of our families, and I just want to use that, I don't know, white glove approach to
Yeah.
dog training, and I feel like all the dogs that I train, I build a personal relationship with those dogs, and then literally I can go years down the road, and if somebody has a problem with their dog
Wow.
after I've trained them and had a relationship with them, they contact me. I literally can go to that dog's house or go to that person's house, and that dog remembers me, and I can snap them right back into control within a couple lessons. I mean, it's so beneficial rather than just some person training your dog that hasn't built that relationship.
Yeah.
It's just personal for me. I mean, I don't know. I'm going off too, but sometimes I do. Like it's very personal for me.
It seems like to me that you take the extra step of like, hey, this isn't just a way for me to make money. This isn't just a dog and a client, but this is something that I actually want to care for. I want to actually train so it works, not just for you to make money and kick it out the door.
Absolutely, I can't believe I have to like pinch myself all the time because I can't believe people pay me to love on their dogs the way I do. You know what I mean? Because literally that's what it is. So, with the way I do it, and they're here in my home, I'm feeding them, I'm watering them, I'm taking them outside to go potty, I'm playing ball with them. I build such a relationship with these dogs that they become my dogs for that period of time that I have them in my board and train program, and I just can't believe people pay me to do that. But
Yeah.
it's so beneficial for me because I love being able to see the benefits of that training after they go home. And these people are like, "Oh my gosh, my dog loves you." Like people call me Uncle Hans. Like, "Hey, do you want to go see Uncle Hans for a week or whatever?"
Yeah.
Because absolutely with dog training is it's a consistency. So even though I train your dog and send it home to you, if you're not consistent, which we all fall short of that, okay? I do the same thing with my dog. My dog, like sometimes I'll go weeks, months without actually working a training session with him. And when people do that, life happens. People get sick. New kids come in the picture. All kinds of stuff happens. If you don't stay consistent with that, I can literally come back and help you out with that.
Yeah.
It's just an awesome thing when I build that relationship with them.
Yeah. And when you were when you were a young child, you worked with your father as a kennel boy, taking care of 32 dogs.
Yeah, yeah. So my dad actually ran a guard dog service
Okay.
um, for Toledo area. He also trained all Monroe County Sheriff police dogs every Saturday morning. All the sheriff's department would come. They'd have their dogs. We'd do training sessions in our our training field. But I learned how to read dogs through that because my dad would get in these aggressive dogs that you might not be able to even communicate or talk to or do anything with for a couple weeks. Like literally, sometimes you would just go into the kennel, pour the food in there while the dog's hiding in the back of the
Wow.
kennel, and then a couple weeks go by. Dogs are pack animals, so they need some type of affection, and so all of a sudden that dog would come up and it would rub on you, and then you're just like, okay, I'll try, and sure enough, boom, you just built that relationship with that dog. But what people do is they want to throw themselves on animals. Want to as soon as the dog gets like, oh come on, I love you, and you got to let the dog come to you and tell you when it's ready in order to build that relationship. You know.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah, I since I was 5 years old. Obviously, this is my uniform that my dad had when back in the early '80s. Elvis
yeah.
jumpsuit type thing. He had that, and my mom's friend made that for me, and yeah, I was like out there on the training field with him with protection dogs and all that kind of stuff.
And you took this passion that you gained from working with your dad, and you turned it into a full-time business in 2020.
Yep.
What really flipped that switch in your mind to make you say, okay, it's time to go all in on this business?
So I obviously I got married, had a family, trained friends' dogs and family's dogs, all growing up and everything, and just couldn't take the step in the risk, I should say, in going all in. Hang on 2 seconds, please. Sorry, I got dogs.
No, 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 you're good.
um, so yeah, I couldn't take the risk in making that step, and my two of my oldest daughters graduated from high school, and I was like, okay, they talked me into getting a shepherd. Like I hadn't had a dog in a while, just because I was driving semi, I was doing a lot of other things, just and I couldn't have, and they talked me into it, and I was like reluctant. I'm like, fine, all right. And then I started really training on the side, training him, training on the side people, and I got to the point to where I had a job, my truck driving job switched shifts, and so then I was on a swing shift, and I couldn't service people the way I wanted to with dog training, and it was just one of those things. I had to make a decision: either stop
Yeah.
training dogs or go in and quit my job. And that's just what I did. I was like, I'm all in, man. Let's do this 10 times now. You know. So
Yeah.
so, yeah. So then I trained at a facility for a while and in Toledo, and then I was like, I knew going into it I was going to be on my own at some point, and it just happened. So
That's beautiful. Hans, I have two more questions for you.
yeah, no worries, man.
If you could have dinner with two people,
Yeah.
one person from the past and one person from the present, who would it be and why?
Um, Gosh, I don't know. Probably my grandpa, my dad's dad. Just because I was like 2 when he died, and just to be able to, he was kind of part of my dad when my dad was starting out business wise, and I just like you to say you were on that, you know. And future wise, I don't know. I don't know. I I I, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe my one of my grandkids. I don't know, because I would really like somebody to be able to. I was just talking to my daughter about it the other day. that I would really like to bring up my grandkids in the dog training world so that they catch.
Yeah.
Because I feel like yeah, you can go to seminars, and I try to go to at least 2 seminars of dog training a year because dog training is an evolving thing. There's so many new ways to do it, and more humane ways for a dog, and easier ways to teach these dogs and everything. So I feel like seminars are super good at that. They're not. You don't want to take everything from them because you want to be your own self. Um, you can learn that, but I feel like if I have my grandkid with me, whether it be my grandson, granddaughter, whatever it is, they are going to catch that same thing that I caught from my dad. Because
Yeah.
literally, sometimes I watch my videos that I'm training, and I'm like, gosh, that looks just like my dad. Like I remember him doing stuff, and good boy and good
Yeah.
girl, good boy. Like I talk just like him, and so I hope that my somebody from my lineage comes up and is a dog trainer also.
That's beautiful. I love it. I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to partner with us and offer the discounts?
I just feel like a small business like myself coming out um, needs to be out there as much as possible, and people to see what kind of person I am, what kind of training I do. And that's another thing. Like a lot of trainers, there's a lot of dog trainers out there right now. It's just became this thing that everybody blew up as a dog trainer. Okay. But what people aren't doing and what I've tried doing on my social media is showing my actual training
Yes.
because people, yeah, it's super easy to take a dog and place them on somewhere and take a picture. Like that's super easy. But to actually show your training and how you're correcting these dogs and getting them to, dogs are master manipulators. But if we can manipulate them to do things that we want them to do and make them think that they chose that behavior, we're way better of dog trainers than doing it that way.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things I just wanted to get my training out there. And when you contacted me, I was like, dude, that's not even a question, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate you doing
Yeah.
that.
I mean, dude. I mean, like we appreciate you. You know, you trusting us early on in the process. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
those are the questions I have for you. How can people find you? And what is one thing you want to leave people with?
People can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I try to YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I try to get everything out there, but literally sometimes it's like, yeah, I mean, at some point I'm gonna have to hire somebody to take over my video editing and crap because literally I'll train all day, video edit during the night, post, and try to do all this stuff. And I try to do it on Facebook as much as possible.
Yeah.
That's one thing too. With my training, when you send your dog to me, you're getting daily, if not daily, at least every other day, video updates
Wow.
of how the progress of your dog, so people can
Nice.
follow that. It's so much easier because I can't text only 30-second videos, but I can put 3-minute videos on Facebook. So for
Yeah.
people to watch the progress actually of their dog helps. And then when they share that to all their friends, that helps me out even more. And they're proud of their dog. Look at my dog. Look at my baby. How it's doing. It's so good. Like that's what I want from people. You know, um, what would I leave? What do I want to leave for somebody? I guess, um, like I said, I'm not the only trainer out there. I'm not the best trainer out there. Get your dog into some kind of training. Do something with your dog. It builds such a relationship between you and your dog when you're actually working with them and learning how to communicate with them. That's the biggest thing. These dogs are our lives now, and we love them just like family. We do anything for them. Spend some time with them. Do some training and some structure. Get them involved in your life.
Well, Hans, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, man. It was a pleasure. I love, kind of diving deep into the dog training. And if you want to stay on the screen after I end it, but thank you so much for coming on, man.
Perfect. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.